Hello everyone. This video will be a crash test of this Lamborghini. There will be 5 collisions in total, 2 in the front, 2 in the sides, and 1 in the back of the car. But before I start smashing it, I will tell you how such a model can crash and get damage to the body. I created this model from plasticine with my own hands, and since this material is soft, it can always be reshaped or bent. In my case, smash the car. You can watch the video about how I created it by clicking on the tip above, or by clicking on the link in the description. It shows the entire creation process, from the beginning to the fully finished model. The channel has already had many different crash tests of plasticine cars, but there was no car with such a body shape. That is, a supercar. It does not have a large front part of the hood and trunk, it is all optics, and low. Therefore, it will be interesting to see how such a car shape will be deformed. Creating it, I specifically made a design with the ability to deform the body, so that any part of the car could be crushed, wherever the collision would happen. The model is very well detailed and made with high quality. There is a beautiful bright interior in an unusual design, highlighting the headlights and original wheels that repeat the shape, and all this is made by hand from plasticine, and so that it does not stick to your hands and does not leave fingerprints on the surface. It is covered with a transparent matte varnish. Now let's proceed to the crash test itself. Let's see how durable this Lamborghini is. The first collision will be a frontal one with a beveled block like this one, similar to those used in real crash tests. And here is what damage the Lamborghini received after the first collision. Only the left side of the car is broken, according to the shape of the block it crashed into. The bumper is damaged. Wing and hood. The wheel is not damaged. It remained intact. The damage is not as severe as it was in previous crash tests, but not weak either. About average. Because of the long front part of the car, it was the part before the wheel that bent and there was no further damage. Considering that this is all made of plasticine, it looks pretty good, quite natural. And you can also see how the varnish on the body parts cracked in the places of bending. This is what the damage turned out to be, but it still has many intact parts where you can crash and see the damage received. The next collision will also be in the front part. For this, I will change the block to a smooth one and flat, so that it would simulate a collision with a wall. This collision was more severe. The entire front part of the car was smashed. Again, the damage only reached the wheel, but now it is tightly clamped by the parts. The wings were bent outward. Many cracks in the varnish formed in the places where the plasticine was bent. The hood was bent in half, and the bumper itself was very badly damaged. Many elements on it were cracked, and it looks exactly like a collision with a flat wall. On the other side, the wheel was also strongly clamped, and the bumper and wing were bent even more. This is what the damage from the second collision turned out to be, and it looks quite realistic. Now let's move on to the next test, namely a side impact of the driver's side against a pole. And in the roll of the pole, I use a pencil. It turned out very clear, exactly in the center of the door. Bent it very strongly, even touched the roof, and bent the door. A large gap was formed. The door took the rounded shape of a pillar, and bent it very much. From above we see that the pillar reached right to the seat, and even a little further, plus the door trim inside, so the driver would have been very squeezed there. This is how it looks in the cabin. We see how the door was bent and the seat was tightly clamped. And this is how it looks from below. Even such a wide threshold could not contain such a collision. It turned out very natural. The damage looks very good. I really like the result. We also see that only the door was bent, and the rear wing remained smooth and intact. Now let's move on to the next test. There will be an imitation of a side collision with a car. For this, I changed the block repeating the front of the car. The entire side of the car was damaged. The threshold was slightly touched, but it did not bend. And here the damage did not go into the cabin as much as it did in the previous collision, because of the larger area of the block itself. This is how it looks from above. We see how much the door was bent and the roof was not damaged at all and remained flat. This is how the damage turned out. Now we move on to the last test, a collision in the rear of the car. Here everything did not go according to plan, and the block simply could not withstand and flew away along with the car, because I did not secure it well. So I'll try again. And here is the damage from the rear collision. Here the wheel is already bent, since it is very close to the bumper and it is very short, not like the front bumper. It is the left side that is broken. The bumper is very flattened. The headlight is broken and the rear part of the wing is bent, so that even the insides are visible, and the upper element is damaged. Also, you can see from above how the roof has shifted a little. This was the last collision. I will not break this side anymore, so that at least something whole remains from the car. It is already broken enough, and here is the extent of damage to this Lamborghini again. The crash test turned out to be cool and interesting. The damage looks very natural and realistic, like for a plasticine copy of a car. I hope this video was interesting. If so, then like and subscribe to the channel. Now this broken Lamborghini will be stored in my collection of broken plasticine cars. Thank you all for watching this video. Bye everyone.